phone call is, first of all, to let the people of Assam to give our thanks and congratulations for making today's date a very successful date. Today, as you know, is the 34th Foundation Day of our organization. And the same goes to you. Thanks very much for giving the opportunity for letting me speak through you to the people of Assam.
After 34 years of existence, today on the 7th of April 2013, your organization has seen many changes. You have many resolutions that you have made before and perhaps today. How sacred is this day today for you, and what is your resolution today?
As you know, like you celebrate birthdays for your children perhaps, and you make a resolution that next year will be better, more progressive, more successful for your children, doing better in life. So similarly, on this Foundation Day, we have confirmed our commitment towards the goal of achieving independence of Assam and developing a progressive Assam with a successful new country in the international arena.
Dr. Asom, your erstwhile chairman, Mr. Aurobindo Rajkwa, left ULFA presumably to bring peace back to Assam. Two questions arise on a significant day like today. First, how has this impacted your organization? And two, what is the positive impact that the negotiations with the Government of India can bring to the people of Assam?
First of all, the impact to the organization is that I had to step in to fill in the void left by the previous gentleman who was carrying the heavy responsibility of the organization. Otherwise, the rest of the organization has been unaffected in any other way. And as regards to the second part of the question, that is a discussion between some individual who have accepted to have discussion within the framework of Indian Constitution, and therefore we have no such qualms about any effect resulting from that kind of discussion to this parent organization that I lead.
But are any of you, including Mr. Paresh Barua, in touch with Mr. Aurobindo Rajkwa or any other senior cadres who walked out of the organization?
First of all, I must remind you, Paresh Barua also changed his name to Paresh Asom with the view of giving a new identification for the people of Assam to become united with one name, with the one aim. As regards to the second part of the question, that is outside the framework of the workings of our organization, so I have no comment to make on that.
You know, in the last negotiations with the Government of India, a people's consultative group had been formed. At that moment of time, both the factions of ULFA were dealing with the Government of India through the PCG. Do you think that any civil body like the PCG could be formed again so that would help you to negotiate your talks with the Government of India?
Indeed. That's a very interesting question and indeed important question. Any group, including you, could be the leading light of making sure that the Indian government comes forward without condition to discuss with my organization for the sole purpose of restoring the sovereignty of Assam, which has been stolen from the people of Assam. And we have three conditions before, which we tried to be helpful to reduce it to one, but because of lack of sincerity of Indian government and the authorities and the wishes of the people of Assam, we have decided that we are not playing games, and to make our stand absolutely clear that we shall allow anyone to go forward similar to the PCG with our three preconditions, that we sit in a third country under the auspices of the United Nations and for the sole and only purpose of
yes,
that any organization or even a person like yourself can take the lead of bringing the Indian administrative mechanism to us without precondition, with the sole purpose of having the discussion of restoration of the sovereignty of Assam, which was stolen from the people of Assam. And we have three conditions to sit on the table. One is that will have to take place under the auspices of the United Nations. Secondly, in a third country of our choice. And thirdly, the only discussion there will be that for the restoration of the sovereignty of Assam, that is to return the independence of Assam, so that we can go forward with our own identity in the wide world.
Dr. Abhijit, which is to say that the conditions that you had imposed earlier remain the same and there is no commitment to go down on the conditions? So the three conditions, I repeat, are the same: that you are agreeable to the formation of a new PCG to negotiate with the government, provided that they will do it under the Charter of the United Nations, that they will do these talks in a third country, and they will discuss the sovereignty of Assam.
No, I think you got it a little bit of wrong in the mistake. What I said, the PCG can have a discussion with the government, PCG or similar organization, or an individual like yourself can persuade the Indian government to come forward to meet us, accepting our three preconditions, to sit with us to discuss the restoration of sovereignty of Assam. That is all, and nothing else.
But this is the same position that has been going on for the last 3 decades. Don't you think that it's time for you to step down on these conditions?
Right. If I could remind you, yes, we indeed did so. We thought that the Indian government was sincere to restore the sovereignty of Assam. So to make things a bit easy for Indian government, we actually dropped 2 preconditions, except the third one, which was this restoration of sovereignty of Assam. But over all these years, and you have been seeing what's going on, the so-called talk you mentioned with the chairman of the organization. Therefore, we felt that the Indian government doesn't have the sincerity of turning the true values that's put forward in our condition, one condition left over. Therefore, we have reimposed those conditions, and I am sure you'd understand that this message should be very loud and clear this time, and the Indian government or the administrative process respects them.
Dr. Abhijit, don't you think that a collective push by both the factions of ULFA would be a much better opportunity for you to bring peace to the people of Assam? I mean, right now there is one faction which is talking to the government of India. Then there is Mr. Paresh Barua, and there is now Dr. Abhijit Asom, that is you, on one side, and that is making it difficult for peace to return to Assam. But don't you think today is the right day when we could actually give it a collective push so that we bring good to the people of Assam, which is our larger goal and objective?
Okay, I understand your position, and you use the word peace. The simple word peace doesn't reflect the aspirations of the majority of people of Assam, which is restoration of sovereignty of Assam, and this struggle has been ongoing since Assam lost its independence. So therefore, in my organization's view, that's which has been formed over the last 34 years, it's not an overnight view, that only way of bringing peace, prosperity, progress to Assam is restoration of sovereignty of Assam. And for that, as I told you before, it can be any group, any party, any person who can take the charge of bringing the Indian establishment to my organization with accepting our preconditions, and only issue on the table will be restoration of sovereignty of Assam.
The shadow of ULFA still continues to loom large on Assam's political landscape. Despite the fact that both of you, I address the question to both of you are now reduced to being leaders of a rump of what was once a very powerful insurgent group. As the self-styled commanders, as the self-styled chairman, you still send shivers down the collective spine of the politicians in Assam and in the country. In many recent instances, your group has demonstrated its ability to strike at will, just when they thought that Assam will witness a violence-free decade. So no matter how small and outnumbered, the government understands that you still retain an ability to create trouble in the state. Now you draw your strength from your very close ties to the Bangladeshi intelligence agencies, the DGFI, the Pakistani spy agency, the ISI, and the Chinese intelligence. And I doubt whether those entities would ever allow both of you to come over ground or to join the peace process or to return to India. So what then is the future of your revolution? And linked to this is the future of Assam.
Future of Assam, as I earlier said, is dependent on restoration of sovereignty of Assam. Without that, everyone knows that Assam has no future. The Assam identity of people of Assam all are in threat. Going back to one point that you mentioned, violence. Now, I'm sure you were perhaps aware of the massive movement that took place between 79 and 85. That was a student-led movement without using any arms. Are you aware of that movement? Are you aware how many students were killed by the security forces during that period?
Yes.
I'm sure if you recall, more than 600, I think perhaps exactly 668 students.
Yes.
Who killed those students? Counterinsurgency forces of which country?
India.
India.